all you laddies, lasses, and beans. Today, we're going to start a series that I've been wanting to start for a couple years now, called Fantastic Final Bosses. In this series, we analyze what makes a good final boss, because surprisingly enough, a lot of video games have, really underwhelming bosses or just straight up bad ones. So without further ado, let's analyze why Ripto, the final boss of Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, or Gateway to Glimmer if you live in Europe, is a fantastic final boss. One of the things final bosses are supposed to do is test you on all the skills you learned up to this point, and Ripto definitely delivers on that. Throughout the game, you learn a bunch of super abilities: Super Charge, Super Flame, and a new one is introduced to the boss fight, which is like a Super Blob Orb or whatever. But all of these abilities that you've learned throughout the game, you have to use against Ripto. And that's pretty important, because as I just said, final bosses are supposed to test you on the skills you've learned, and getting to use all these super abilities at once against Ripto is really satisfying. I will admit a minor criticism, that trying to hit Ripto while he's running away is pretty annoying. But most of all, we have the cardinal sin of Hunter's orb drop placement. He always drops them like a million kilometers away from you, right next to Ripto. And throughout the game, he makes you do these stupid challenges to get the orbs. It's almost like he's on Ripto's side, especially here. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's continue. A cool part of this boss, which is definitely exemplified by Hunter's orb placement. You know, I'm starting to think that the developers intentionally did that to make the fight harder. Kudos to them, I guess, is the fact that Ripto can use the orb abilities against you. So not only are you racing to get all the orbs for a super power-up, but so is Ripto. It makes an interesting race-like dynamic. Then we move on to the second phase, where we have to fight a robotic clone of Gulp, but luckily it's nowhere near as hard as that boss fight was in Reignited Trilogy. It's especially satisfying to use the supercharge ability against Robo-Gulp since it's such a big target, which oddly enough makes the second phase easier than the first one. But then we get to the climax. The floor sinks, and you get the Superfly ability. Now this is how you end the final boss. Not only is it super epic to fly around like this, but it's also the hardest phase, which it should be since the last one, since Ripto's always shooting at you. You have to be careful and watch your surroundings so you don't get hit and fall straight into the lava. And to top it all off, we get a surprisingly dark end to Ripto. Now there are always other aspects to judge for a final boss fight, like the surroundings and the music. For the music in this boss fight, we get an opera guy having a seizure. The visuals are absolutely stunning, with the beautiful moonlit mountain range in the background and the castle surrounding you. Overall, I give this final boss fight an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want me to do more videos like this in the future, please let me know down in the comments section below. The visuals are absolutely stunning, with the beautiful moonlit moon range.